So how does the foreclosure process work in California? This is a great question, and I can't wait to dig into this. I live in California. I'm very familiar with the process here. And in this video, I'm going to show you all the nuances and all the things that you can do. It's not just cut and dry. You need to know what you're doing. And in this video, we're going to be very, very clear on that. So you'll have a good understanding and go out there and show you how to make money in this whole process, protect yourself if you've got a bad lender or something like that, or protect yourself if you've got a bad tenant in the property. California is very sticky that way, so stick around. As a matter of fact, I'll do this. Stick around to the very end, and I got a little bonus for you, a little program that I've been working on for a while, and I'll get that information out to you when we're all done here. All right, so how do you make this happen? First of all, California, there's all sorts of things. California's the 7th largest economy in the world. As California goes, the rest of the country goes. I hope not. California has a lot of ridiculous laws when it comes to real estate. Foreclosure, not really one of them. If you stop making payments in California, I got a whole bunch of notes out here. You just need to know what's going on. But in California is one of the few states that within 15 days after you're being late, they can start a notice of default and start charging interest on all that stuff. So it's pretty aggressive that way, if you will. You got some of your states that have much more aggressive laws on getting people out of the property as far as tenants are concerned, are much more lenient for lenders. So there's a couple of things. If you're owning property in California and you're going to go ahead and carry the note for that property, like you become the bank, understand the rules around foreclosing on somebody and getting them out of the property. Pretty easy, actually. After 15 days of them being late, you can start charging interest. After 90 days, you can start sending out your NODs, your notice of default. You must include the amount owed, inform the borrower their rights to default within 90 days. You can't get the property back. The notice of sale must be posted in the newspapers. Notice to inform the borrowers the property is going to be sold at auction, typically scheduled 21 days after the notice is published. There's all sorts of procedures that you can go through. Public auction, the date of the auction. It doesn't sell if it goes to the lender, which is the REO. There's all these little avenues. The reason there are attorneys that specialize in this, because there needs to be. If you think you're going to do your own foreclosure or anything like that, you're crazy. It's not going to work. You just need to know what your rules are around that. Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now, though. When you talk to an attorney and say, if I have a property and I'm lending money and they don't pay me back, what are my procedures? They're always going to give you the worst case scenario. God bless attorneys. I get it. But again, if they gave you sunshine as, it's really easy, and it's not, they don't know the scenario. That's like saying, how's this relationship going to work out after my first date? I don't know. It depends on all sorts of certain things. Somebody could have died in the family. There could be financial hardships. This could be tied up in, there's going to be so many scenarios. So for an attorney to give you a straight answer on how long a foreclosure would take is not only ethical, but it's not very realistic. So don't expect them to do that. So number one, you can't expect that. But a typical foreclosure, if everything went smoothly, is about four to 6 months. Okay, minimum on that. So you've got to kind of take that into consideration. That's a long time, Sean. Yeah, look, maybe I've been lucky. Okay, there's a number of different things around that. I really screen my renters pretty diligently, so I don't have to deal with a lot of evictions. If I'm lending money to people, I look at who they are. So if I have a house and they're going to finance it from me, I make sure I know exactly who they are and what their payment history. Past payment history is an indication of what they're doing in the future. Period, end of story. Okay. Now, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I've got 3 investment properties, I don't want another one on my financial statement, I totally get it. Because the more you get, if you're going conventional rent lending on that, So if I have one property as a rental property and I borrowed money to buy that, I have to have 6 months worth of payments in the bank. The second one, I have to have another 6 months for that one. The third one, it keeps going. That person has to have a crap load of money in the bank every time they get a property. That just builds up and that money's not doing anything. This is why I use private investors. I go, yeah, I'll just use a private investor. It goes into the mix of I'm going to have to pay them more money, but it's not going to be on my financials. Okay, so there's that also. Okay, now remember, I've got a lot of information on this. If you want some information, you want a course on that, just go down to my link. I'll get to that a little later. We've got a whole bunch of cool stuff on that. But let's just talk about this. There's a lot of fear around doing properties in California. I do not have a fear of owning properties in California, and I do not have a fear of holding mortgages on properties in California. In other words, I'm the lender and somebody buys it from me. What I don't like doing in California is renting property. There's way too many rules that benefit the tenant. Even that depends on what county you're in also. Okay, so I'll let that one alone. I'm not going to get into political statements here. Well, let's just say it how it is. You don't want to go to the LA or the San Francisco areas because you're never going to get anybody out. There's the more conservative counties out there. Look, they're not going to put up with it. They still have to follow the rules, but there you go on it. So understand where you're buying a property and understand the local rules. If I rent out the property and they don't pay, what are the rules around this? Now, there are a lot of videos out there right now on squatters. It's funny. We've got millions and millions of properties here in the United States. I'm sure there are squatters out there that are making it miserable for the homeowner. I know there are. The problem is people put a video out on YouTube and that gets a lot of clicks. Oh yeah, I know. Because all the inexperienced investors are looking for reasons why you should invest in real estate. Oh, I'm not gonna do it because you might have a tenant trash the place. I one time had somebody say, I'm not gonna buy a property because there might be Chinese drywall in it and I could get sued. I'm like, what? Okay, where did that even come from? That's like saying, I'm not going to invest in the stock market because there could be somebody that wears a red hat and I don't like red hat. What the heck is, okay? I've gotten properties with, remember the mold thing? Oh yeah, you got to be careful with mold and the mitigation with that. Oh, there could be somebody that used it as a crack house, okay? I mean, there could be somebody that died in the property. All of these things coulda, shoulda, woulda. So that means you don't do anything until that happens? Don't do that. Don't play that game. It's just a waste of time. So worrying about a squatter, worrying about a bad renter, look, know what the rules are. The reason I won't rent property in most of California, all of California, is because it's not worth it to me. If the person stops making their payments, there's too many ways for them to get out and stay in the property. Not the case in other places. Not the case in Arizona. Not the case in Texas. Not the case in Georgia, in Pennsylvania. Okay, so, if I want good ducks, I go where the good ducks are if I'm going duck hunting. Now, don't go at me and say, hey, you don't have a reason to kill any ducks. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of things you're looking at in California. Do I have Airbnbs in California? Darn right I do. It's a great place for Airbnb. I had my first Airbnb in 1999. Okay, now they weren't called Airbnbs back then. Actually, I had the second one in all of Napa County. That was a great project. I've done a bunch and I still have some now. It's a great way to make some money. And it also offsets the enormous price of properties in California. All you have to do is be the best manager out there. Look, I've got so much information on this, on Airbnbs, on foreclosures, how long, all that good stuff. We can get into all that. The bottom line, in the state of California, it takes about 4 to 6 months to foreclose. There can be some ways you can work with the property owner on that. I list all those in the descriptions down below on that. I also have a brand new course. You'll see it down in there. It says higginsmethod.com. Click on that link, my gift to you, that goes through all these ways I teach people how to make money. This is Saen Higgins saying good luck and God bless. We'll see you out there.